maybe we can start with a bit of an argument, because, you see, I'm quite sympathetic to the RMT.
Well,
but I'm actually sympathetic.
Why?
I actually heard Eddie Dempsey, the head of the RMT, speaking this morning, and he made a really good point, which was to say, my job is to represent our union members, and we want a reasonable standard of living, people. We've had a 3-year freeze. We worked through the pandemic. You know,
but that's
you can
rubbish.
say the average.
Cobblers.
You can say that the average amount they get is 48,000, but a lot of them are on 24. But the reason I'm saying it is because
a lot of them are on 65.
Yeah, but some of them are, but lots of them are not, right? But the reason I'm saying it is because you just rightly pointed out something like that cap on energy. I mean, how are ordinary people meant to cope?
Yeah.
And I would expect. In fact, I would think it's a duty of trade unions to go, well, for our members, we're going to try and get a decent standard of living, or at least enough to cope, right?
Yes.
Because when you listen to all the issues that the government are coming out with, all the ways they say they're going to handle things, it's never about wages. It's always about helping the poorest in society. So if you're an ordinary working person, actually, they're the people who are going to really struggle with all this, because they're not going to get any of the extra help, if you see what I mean. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that we can expect. I'm less sympathetic to the civil service strike, by the way.
Yes.
That's slightly different.
Because, I mean, here's my problem with both of those situations. One, with the RMT, yes, they worked through the pandemic, but I had a guy on yesterday who was an RMT member, who obviously was either a driver or a guard or something, who was trying to give me this, we ran the service. Yeah, but it was a skeletal service, because hardly anybody was using the trains. An awful lot of people were paid not to do anything, right? And for having spent 2 years getting paid to do nothing, I think it's pretty disingenuous to then demand more money for doing something.
I think they had to go into work, and that was different.
Well, not really, because we keep being told that trains are not running because there's no availability of drivers.
Well, because I was actually, essential work at getting the train a bit, what you'd see, it was lots of staff and not many trains.
Right.
Now, we might say that's mad, right? But all I'm saying is that, if you want, was the scandal of the whole lockdown period. It was completely irrational, right? I mean, they did do mad things.
Yeah.
I'm just
but
saying
they also cancelled an awful lot of trains, so they didn't...
They did, but the staff were all standing around the stations because they weren't all set home. Look, I'm not saying everyone works hard. All I'm saying is I understand that when you've got a massive cost of living crisis, I don't want ordinary people to suffer. And if you're a trade union, that's what your job is to try and secure the best deal you can for your staff.
And if that was true, I might even have some sympathy for your point. However, you must also admit that quite a bit of this is going to be ideological. Quite a bit of it, as I said, is about bringing down this government, because it smells to me like we're going back to the 1970s, because the unions are starting to band together and they're starting to say, right, here's what we can do, and we will bring this country to a standstill, and then there'll be a general election, and then we'll see how we go.
Possibly. I think there's 70s analogy in terms of how much people are going to suffer from inflation and a recession is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually thought, as I say, that the RMT made a good case. They actually also said no compulsory redundancies, but they said we accept that there will be redundancies. Now, that's a big step for the RMT. It's quite a radical union, and it got the support of their members. So it could be about bringing down the government, but as you pointed out, we've now discovered that the media elite want to bring down the government too.
Well, the media elite,
it appears everyone else is doing it, right?
The one set of pictures I do want to see is the members of the media who were at some of these parties, because we know that they were, and we just don't know exactly who they were, but there were certainly people there, because they're all in it together at the end of the day.
I'm simply pointing out that I support the right of trade unionists to take action.
Listen, I'm very glad you said that, because I wouldn't want this show in any way to be one-sided. But equally, what we know is that when they talk about, terms and conditions, I mean, I said to this guy yesterday, well, which terms and conditions are you not happy about? And he couldn't say. And they're turning it into the same as the argument that was held between the rail workers on the South West train line in Waterloo, when they said, we don't want to get rid of the guards because the guards maintain safety, health and safety and all of that, all of which is absolute nonsense, a crock of something I can't say on the radio. Basically, it's about them getting more money, because whenever they're given more money, all of the other worries go away.
Yeah, and I think they should get more money.
Okay.
That's my basic bottom line.
Okay, well, I mean, there may be some of you out there listening to Claire Fox who don't agree with her, in which case, feel free.
I suspect that's true.
Feel free to let us know.